pumped up money, and then on top of that, you have all the county and local and everything else that's going on. So, yeah, that's a real challenge. And then Andy Hopper, what I suggest is you look at candidates that pulled it off, that were in it for 3 years, that didn't have the money, that had to learn how to raise the money. Don't go look at the people that are just rolling in money for answers. Go look at the people that had to fundraise, had to figure it out on their own, and figure out how did they make this happen? What was their winning strategy? Like that's where you got to be looking at is being able to raise grassroots dollars in amounts large enough to make it happen. That doesn't mean you have to raise millions. You got to be able to raise enough to make the election happen. Make sure that people know who it is they're voting for and why. Get your name ID out there. It doesn't take a million, maybe 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, depending on where you're running for. You can overcome the establishment. It can be done.
Tom, do you have any good examples off the top of your head of people that have had great fundraising strategies?
Yeah, I mean, Andy Hopper off the top of my head, Brian Harrison off the top of my head. These are people that had no help from the establishment. These people that ran for state ledge here in Texas. No help from the outside, did it on their own. Not easy, but did it on their own. Now, when you start thinking about federal offices, a lot different conversation. Most people that they go to federal office have had, opportunities to hold office in different seats. You're probably going to be a lot harder road for someone that is a MAGA candidate to go from being unknown to becoming a congressman. Marjorie Taylor Greene had the money, but there are federal limits to what you can contribute to your campaign as well. So she could have her own PAC with a bunch of money, but still her campaign dollars is just the people that she fundraises money from. That's the reason federal office is so much harder. You get all these limits, right? So there's quite a few Congress people, men and women on the right that don't get help from the establishment at all. Look at their money. Thomas Massey. I don't think Thomas Massey was this millionaire before he became a congressman. He was an engineer who, took out the system in a Tesla, put some solar panels in his backyard, and, kind of lives on his own out off the grid. He got a nice piece of real estate. I mean, I don't think the man's poor by any means, but I don't think he's like self-funding a multi-million-dollar campaign. So you have to have enough money in your bank account. You have to be ultra rich, but you can't be poor. And then you have to have friends and family that can help keep your campaign up off the ground without the help of the establishment. Then you got to have consultants that are good, that don't work for the establishment, that won't 86 and torpedo your campaign, and that you can afford. And then you have to figure out where the money's actually going to be spent to win the race. Most of it's going to be spent in the middle if you have the money. Very little of it's going to be spent on signs. Yard signs are great, 4x8s are great, commercials are great, but they don't really win campaigns. Door knockers, volunteers, and mail does. It does a much better job. It's just the way it is. I wish I could tell you the text messages and phone calls work, because that'd be a lot cheaper and easier, but they don't. People are tired of being bugged by the phone, and it's just not useful at all, especially when it comes to fundraising. So you got to have a good strategy that works, that is repetitive. People have to know who you are. Once you get elected, once you get your name ID up there, it's not too hard to get reelected.
That Congress